In a quiet street on the outskirts of town, where the evenings grew silent early and the houses stood close enough to hear each other's routines, a young boy lived alone with his mother. Their small home carried the scent of old books, warm meals, and soft laughter. It was a peaceful life, simple but filled with stability. The boy loved how predictable everything felt: morning breakfasts, school days, evening walks, and nighttime stories. His mother, gentle and attentive, surrounded him with a warmth that made the world feel safe. But safety, like silence, can be deceptive. Things began to change slowly, almost invisibly at first. His mother, once open and calm, grew quieter. She started jumping at small noises, and her smile often looked forced, as if hiding something heavy behind it. The boy noticed her locking the main door twice instead of once. He noticed her lingering near windows longer than usual. Most of all, he noticed her late-night phone calls, muffled behind a closed kitchen door. She tried to act normal, but her hands shook when she thought no one was watching. The boy, sensitive and observant, felt the air inside their home shifting. A tension, thin but unignorable, had settled around them. The changes grew stronger over the next weeks. She began leaving the house during unusual hours, telling him she needed to buy groceries even after they had plenty. She walked faster than before, constantly looking over her shoulder. She avoided neighbors she once greeted warmly. When the boy asked small questions, her answers felt rehearsed and brief. She touched his face often as if memorizing it. Sometimes she stared at him for long moments with worry so deep it unsettled him. He felt something important was happening around him, something hidden, something she didn't want him to know. One evening, when the sky had turned a dull gray and cold wind moved through the empty street, she told him to stay inside while she stepped out quickly. The boy nodded, but his heart filled with unease. Something about her tone, her trembling hands, and her hurried movements made him feel she wasn't stepping out for anything ordinary. When the door closed behind her, he felt an overwhelming urge to follow. He waited a moment, then slipped on his shoes and went out quietly. The street was darker than usual, the lamps flickering slightly as if struggling to stay alive. The boy walked at a distance, watching his mother's shape move toward the corner of their street. She looked around anxiously before stopping near an alley where a dim light glowed. The boy hid behind a small garden wall, his breath quiet, his heart thudding deep inside his chest. A man stepped out of the shadows. The boy had never seen him before. His appearance was sharp, unsettling. He wore a dark coat, stood tall, and spoke in a low, firm voice. His mother's posture stiffened, and her hands twisted together nervously. Even from a distance, the boy could sense fear radiating from her. The stranger leaned closer, speaking in quick, tense words. The boy strained to hear but caught only fragments. What he heard froze him where he stood. Phrases like "found you again," "not safe," and "he deserves to know" reached his ears. His mother's voice trembled as she responded, her sentences broken, filled with fear and desperation. The boy's world shifted in that moment. Everything he believed about his life suddenly felt uncertain. He realized his mother had been hiding something far bigger than he imagined. A secret that involved him, a danger that had been looming quietly behind their peaceful routine. The stranger's tone grew harsher, and the boy felt a chill run through him. His mother's shoulders shook as she placed her hands over her face, as though she were pleading for a chance she no longer had. The man stepped back, his words sharper, colder. Something about the seriousness in his voice made the boy feel as if he had stumbled into a truth too heavy for someone his age to carry. Fear seized him. He turned and ran back toward their house, the cold night air slicing across his face. His mind spun with confusion, his heart racing with a sense of betrayal and dread. When he reached home, he shut the door and leaned against it, trying to steady his breathing. His thoughts tangled together every strange behavior, every late-night call, every moment of tension suddenly made sense in a frightening way. His mother wasn't simply stressed. She was hiding from something or someone, and he had overheard something that suggested a truth she never intended him to find out. Minutes later, she arrived home. Her face was pale, her hands trembling as she locked the door behind her. When she saw the boy's shaken state, her expression collapsed into sorrow. She realized immediately that he knew something. The weight she had been carrying finally became too heavy to hide. She sat beside him and began to reveal the truth slowly, painfully, each detail shaped by years of fear and sacrifice. The stranger he had seen was not a random man but someone from a past she had run from years ago. A past she had buried to build a peaceful life for her son. She had once been trapped in a difficult, dangerous relationship, one filled with threats, manipulation, and emotional harm. When her son was still very young, she escaped in the middle of the night, leaving behind everything except a small suitcase and her determination to protect him. The stranger was connected to that past. Someone who had been searching for them. Someone who believed she owed answers, explanations, or something more dangerous. For years she had moved from town to town, changing jobs, changing numbers, waiting for the day she could feel safe. But safety had never truly arrived. The fear always followed her, hidden beneath her smiles. She confessed that every decision she had made, every quiet moment, every extra lock on the door, every sudden move had been to shield him from a man she feared would harm them both. She had disguised her terror as normal life, hiding her pain behind affection. She never wanted her son to grow up knowing the darkness she once lived through. She wanted him to believe he was loved, protected, and safe. The secret she kept was not meant to deceive him but to preserve his childhood. The boy listened, his heart torn between shock and compassion. He realized her fear wasn't weakness, it was strength. She had endured years of struggle alone so he could grow up without the weight of her past. The words he had overheard earlier were not just frightening, they were a crack in the wall she had built to keep him safe. She explained that the stranger's sudden appearance had shaken her deeply. She feared he might return, which explained why she had been acting so strangely lately. She couldn't hide the truth anymore. She needed her son to understand why she had lived in constant caution, why she kept secrets even when it hurt her to do so. The boy's frozen heart slowly softened as he understood the depth of her love. The fear he had felt earlier transformed into a determination to stand by her. Though he was still young, he realized they were stronger together than apart. What frightened him most was not the stranger but the thought of his mother facing everything alone as the night deepened outside. Their home became quieter, but this time the silence held truth instead of secrets. The heavy weight his mother had carried for years finally began to lift. Though the danger was not entirely gone, the burden was now shared. The boy held on to the clarity that their bond had not weakened but grown stronger. In the days that followed, they took steps toward safety together. She contacted authorities, reached out to trusted people, and set boundaries she had once been too frightened to establish. The fear still lingered, but something more powerful rose in its place: courage, unity, and the knowledge that truth, painful as it may be, is sometimes the only path toward peace. Their life did not return to the simple routine it once was. Instead, it moved toward a new beginning, built on honesty and mutual strength. The boy learned that even the strongest people carry silent battles, and that sometimes the ones who protect us the most do so while hiding their deepest fears. And his mother learned that sharing her pain did not weaken her, it finally gave her the support she needed. Their story became a reminder that secrets kept for love still leave shadows, and truth spoken with courage can save more than one heart. And the boy never forgot the night he saw his mother speaking to a stranger, the night his world changed. The night he learned that the person he trusted the most had carried a secret heavy enough to reshape both of their lives forever.